We had legal apartheid. It was illegal for a black man to marry a white woman or vice versa. Public parks and prisons were segregated, mental institutions, swimming pools, graveyards, buses, everything was segregated legally, the same as in South Africa. My father was very conscious of that. But more important, I think the thing that struck him most was the history of our nation, that we were all recent settlers. In South Africa, all of them were recent. We exterminated virtually our indigenous people in both countries. And everybody was recent, and we were from all the different parts of the earth. And it was we were both faced with the difficult task of defining ourselves as a nation and finding a source of our nationhood, because we come from everywhere. We don't share any common culture or history or religion or race or language. The only thing that we really had in common was this conviction that was first stated by our first Puritan settlers in this country and by the Dutch settlers of South Africa. Almost mystical, religious or spiritual mission that these nations had, that we were given this country and these extraordinary natural resources by God, and that we were given for them for a reason, not as just real estate, where a bunch of people gathered to increase the size of their piles and move on, but as a place to build a community, and that we had a special covenant with God. And that notion in this country was adopted by successive waves of immigrants as they came over here, and the same is true of South Africa. And my father's speeches are constantly invoking that tradition in South Africa and reminding the people that they will never achieve their destiny as a nation without democracy, which is the only system of government that is capable of harnessing all the energies of all the different kinds of people. And that because we've been given these extraordinary things, that history was going to judge us, and it's going to judge us not so much based upon the size of our armies or the wealth of our citizens or the throw weight of our weapons, but it's going to judge us based on how we care for each other, how we incorporate as a community, how we care for the least fortunate members of our society, and how well we reduce the seduction of the notion that we can advance ourselves as a nation or a community by leaving our poor brothers and sisters behind. But they did say, and that's the easiest thing for a political leader to do, because every nation, like every human being, has a darker side and a lighter side. And the easiest thing for a politician to do is to appeal to our greed and our self-interest and our anger and our hatred and our bigotry and our pride and our violence. And once in a while in history, for each of our nations, leaders come along that can do the difficult thing, that have the strength and commitment to get us to step outside of our narrow self-interest and say we are part of a community, and we're going to take the risk, and we're going to make the sacrifice, and we'll go on together.